Hello everyone. I hope everyone's doing great. We are 1.5 days away from the new English Premier League season. Liverpool coming as champions after almost 30 years, and we are gonna see who's gonna come up this season, with Chelsea having the best transfer window so far. So this video I will be going over this game week one matches, and I'll talk about players who might do well depending on the fixtures they're playing. For example, and you can choose these players if you're playing fantasy leagues this season as well. So I'll give you predictions from my thought depending on how the teams are coming off from the transfer season and the transfer window, and then how each player is fit and injured. So you can choose them if you're playing fantasy league. So let's get started with our first game of the weekend, which is Fulham versus Arsenal at Craven Cottage. It's going to be a cracker. Fulham are the newly promoted team this season in the Premier League, and Arsenal are coming back after back-to-back trophy wins in the FA Cup and the Community Shield. So Arsenal is going to play away. It might be a little tough. Arsenal's away record has been pretty not that good over the past few seasons, but with Mikel and Arteta in charge, I believe they can put a fight out there. And depending, it's Fulham they are playing Raven Cottage, so I'll be going with a 1-3 win to Arsenal, and I'm betting on Aubameyang to score, and he might very well score the first goal of this new season. So if you want anyone to be in your fantasy team, do pick Obama. I believe he's a midfielder this season, but he will definitely give you goals or assists. From Fulham, I believe if you want any player, the best player you could go for is Tim Rim, their defender. And then still not sure how they'll do in defense this season. But Arsenal for fantasy, Aubameyang will be costly, about $12 million if you're playing fantasy. And then another player which will be cheaper and a good option will be Bukayo Saka. He had been awesome the last season, ending up. So I think those are two safe bets to go with if you're playing fantasy league. So the next game lined up is Crystal Palace versus Southampton. It will be played at Crystal Palace home game for them. So it'll be an interesting game. They are the mid-table teams, but Southampton, Danny Ings is a good player to get in your fantasy team. He had an awesome season last round, 22 goals. That's completely awesome, more than Harry Kane. I believe Harry Kane was injured, but still, that was some season from Danny Ings. So for Crystal Palace and Southampton, I'm going with a 1-1 draw. It's still players are coming in; they'll still be rusty. So I believe, depending on the size and the teams they both have, I believe it'll be a 1-1 draw for each. Crystal Palace, if you want someone from Crystal Palace, I believe the safest bet would be their goalkeeper to have like a backup keeper, Wayne Hennessy. And then Eze, I'm really excited to see how Eze performs. He was signed from QPR in the transfer window for Crystal Palace, so he's a cheaper option if you want someone in your midfield going ahead. Next game up, it'll be pretty good, which is Liverpool versus the newly promoted Leeds United. So they both are exciting teams. I'm looking forward how Leeds fare up this season. As I mentioned in my previous video, I believe they might finish in top 10. So let's see how they go. So Liverpool versus Leeds United, I'll go for Liverpool 3-2 win. They're the current champions, so I believe they'll get the job done this time. And Leeds will be tough to play for every team in the Premier League this season. So Rodrigo, they're the striker they have signed, so I believe Rodrigo can be a good addition if you're looking to have someone in your fantasy team. And for Liverpool, I think we have so many options, but you just have to figure out which will be the best one. And I believe for Liverpool, the way Trent Alexander-Arnold has played over the past 2 seasons, he will be the safest bet to have your first choice right back or in the defense. So along with Trent Alexander-Arnold, I really like Mane. I always get Mane in my fantasy team, so Trent Alexander-Arnold and Mane would be good options for your fantasy teams. Going up next on Saturday, the last game for Saturday we have is West Ham United versus Newcastle United, and that will be played at the London Stadium. Uh, this season and the last season has been pretty tough for West Ham and Newcastle both. But looking at the transfer window, I believe Newcastle are doing some interesting signings. They recently signed Callum Wilson and Ryan Fraser from Bournemouth. So I believe they'll be exciting to see over the season. And Alan Saint Maximin, he's an exciting player. So I believe if you want to have same maximum in your fantasy team, he can definitely give you worth it. And he's a great dribbler and the winger to play for your team. So for prediction for this team, I'll go with a 2-0 win to Newcastle United. I know it's going to be tough. West Ham is playing home, but I think they might struggle this season if they don't, sign proper players. And in case if they end up losing Declan Rice to Chelsea later. So let's see how it goes. So moving on to the next games on Sundays, we have the first game on Sunday is the newly promoted West Bromwich Albion. They'll be playing versus Leicester City. Um, Leicester had been awesome last season, but after the virus struck and after the restart, they kind of fizzled out. So we have to see how they've come up starting this new season. Their defensive unit player Soyuncu from Turkey. He was a great addition to whoever got them in fantasy last season. So he will be a good back to have in your team. And along with them, James Madison. Of course, James Madison is good. And Jamie Vardy is always banging in goals. So if you have some space in your budget, you can definitely get Jamie Vardy. He can definitely get you 15 goals this season. And reading on predictions for West Bromwich Albion and Leicester, I'm going for a 3-1 win to Leicester City, with Vardy scoring a couple, I believe. Let's see. The other game for that Sunday we have is Tottenham Hotspurs versus Everton. That's a super Sunday game. Tottenham led by Jose Mourinho and Everton led by Carlo Ancelotti, the two big European giants we know. This is gonna be tough, so I'm not sure how this will go, but I'm just going with a 1-1 draw for this one. So let's see. Spurs, I think the best bet would be to get Son in your team. He can give you assist and goals both. So he'll be the best option. And for Everton's fine, I always get Digne. He's a left back for the team. So Digne, and then I'll probably get James Rodriguez if you have some budget in your team for your fantasy. Moving on to the games for Monday, we have Sheffield United versus Wolves. So these are the probably the 6 to 10. They'll be fighting for those first positions this season. Hopefully Sheffield will keep on the momentum they had last season. So again, this will be a pretty tough game, but I am going for a 2-1 Wolves win. Traore might score or Raul Jimenez. He is a goal poacher, so Raul Jimenez will be a great addition to any fantasy team over here. So Sheffield, I'll still believe they'll take time to, they're playing home this time against Wolves, but they'll still take time to build on that, form which they had beginning of last season. So I'm going with Wolves win, and then following up into our last game, which is Brighton home Albion versus Chelsea. So Chelsea are still waiting on their new summer signings to integrate them into the team. I believe only Timo Werner and Kai Havertz might be the starters for this game, but still they'll bring in quality which Chelsea are missing from the midfield the last season because Willian left. So I don't believe Thiago Silva will be involved or Ben Chilwell. I think they're still out injured or still not match fit. So Brighton versus Chelsea. I was initially thinking it might end up being a draw, but since after seeing Havertz play, I believe Chelsea can sneaking a win over here, and going with a 2-1 win to Chelsea. Hopefully, Timo Werner gets his first goal of the Premier League. And I believe there are other two games, Man United and Man City, and Aston Villa Burnley. I believe they have been delayed start, so they are not playing this weekend. These are the 8 predictions for this weekend. And please feel free to comment, like, and subscribe, and let me know what you think about this video, and then I can make more videos on that. And then regarding about my next video, I'll probably be back after the game week, all the games of over this weekend, and then I'll talk to you about the updates, analysis, what happened, and what can happen the following week. So I hope you like this video. If you have any more suggestions, or if you have any more, if you want to talk to me, please feel free to comment, and definitely please like. Thank you so much.